Hello? Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
What up, dog?
You want us to help with Team C's?
If you knew what you were doing, you could do that 100%.
Donate $1 for every subscriber we get up to 200 subscribers?
Until the end of the year?
Until the end of the year? Mr. Beast, we're at 35 subscribers. You think you can make it happen? Yeah, we'll do that, Mr. Beast. Love you. Nice Squid Game vid, by the way. Alright, bye. So, you heard it here first, boys. We're donating $1 up to
200 subs until the end of the year. So.
And so we're at 35, so $165 to Team C's. Please get us 200 subscribers. And thank you guys for watching.
Boom, you looking for this?
What's up, guys? It's BoomShot, and here we are in Disney Springs with my new wife. And so we're on our honeymoon. I'm not going to be able to be in the video, but we just watched No Way Home, and it was fantastic. Might be the best Marvel movie yet. But I'd like to introduce our good friend Caleb Sullivan, and hope you guys enjoy the video.
Welcome back to BoomShot. I'm Kale. This is Sully, not Colby, as you've seen in the intro already. We're here to break down, or not really break down, but give our initial reactions to Spider-Man No Way Home, which was an incredible experience. Incredible experience. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the video. Okay, so spoiler warning for everybody who is watching this video.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah.
Turn the video off. Come back.
Please do not spoil this movie for yourself. Like, I promise. It's so much better if you just see it in person. So, I can't put into words how much I enjoyed this movie. Like, I really can't.
I know, like, I had very, very high expectations for this movie. More so than Infinity War and more so than Endgame. I had high expectations for this, and I think it exceeded those expectations.
Oh, for sure. And, like, I told one of our other friends as I was walking out, I was like, this is the first movie in a while where I've walked out, like, not even, like, I didn't hate anything about this movie. Like, at least enough to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this. Yeah. It was just so good, dude.
Like, there's some minor nitpicks, but from beginning to end, I enjoyed this movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was just, we'll get into more of that later. But so actually, let's just go over an overview of kind of what's happening. So in the movie, as you've seen in the trailer, so Peter's identity gets revealed at the end of Far From Home, and so he's trying to, his whole life, everybody around him, life gets ruined, right? And a lot of this stems from him and his friends not being able to go to their colleges, the colleges that they chose at their senior year, you know, because they've been rejected because of the controversy they've been a part of. So his friends get out as well. Also, just minor note before I forget, Daredevil shows up.
Yep.
Very brief.
Very quick. But it's just Charlie Cox as Daredevil.
Yes, and as we've already seen, Kingpin is it Vincent D'Onofrio or something like that? Yeah. So returning actors.
We don't know if it's the same as the Netflix series or just the same actors, but the actors are back. Oh
yeah, for sure. So then, so Peter's trying to undo this because he doesn't want to ruin everybody else's life. So he goes to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange ends up containing the spell, as we see in the trailer. But somehow some people slip through, I guess.
Yes.
So that was, dude. I just can't. I don't even have words for this movie right now. But what else happens after that? I'm trying to remember.
So at that point, it's still, you know, Peter's focus at this point is still about the college, and you know he's wanting to make everything better there. And so then it jumps to the bridge scene, which is all we got pretty much in the trailers and the posters of the bridge scene. So we get there. And that's when Otto Octavius and Green Goblin show up. Yeah.
And so from then on, Doctor Strange kind of charges Peter and his friends with catching the rest of the villains. So
Otto was caught. He was caught by Strange right then.
Yeah.
And then at that point, he tells Peter, MJ, Ned that they got to go get the rest of them. And he gives them the magic gauntlet that you saw in the trailer as well. Yeah.
So he ends up capturing Sandman. He ends up capturing Electro. The Lizard also was already there. Yeah, so the Lizard was already there. And then Green Goblin kind of turns himself in, I guess, in a way, which we figure out.
It's back to being Norman at this point.
Yeah.
The Goblin's kind of taking a back seat.
And so, because of that, we see normal Norman. And so, Peter figures out that Doctor Strange is going to send them back to their timeline to die. And, of course...
In true Peter Parker fashion, no killing.
Yeah, so no deaths may happen. And so he tries to save them, and then all chaos breaks loose.
Also, one important thing, Aunt May, she really hadn't had up until this movie much like impact on Peter as far as decision making, but she's the driving force behind him not sending these villains back and wanting to help them before sending them back.
Yeah, exactly. So then Peter ends up beating Doctor Strange in his own mirror dimension using the power of geometry, and so he takes the villains to his apartment where he has a fabricator from Stark Industries, and he's helping them like cure themselves. So he cures Doc Ock, okay, and he's got a cure for Goblin, or a supposed cure, and then he's also about to cure Electro when Goblin takes back over and basically goes insane, throws Peter against the wall, dude.
Convinces Electro to join him.
Yeah, and so Sandman leaves. And who else escaped? Doc Ock escaped, but he's still a good guy.
Yeah, he's still good. Sandman he left, and then the Lizard.
Yeah.
He attacked Peter for a little bit.
He did.
He attacked Peter, and then he left too.
Yeah, so Peter at the end of the fight gets in a struggle with Goblin, and Goblin ends up killing Aunt May.
Yeah, it was a callback to Spider-Man 1 with the glider.
Yeah. So he's got the glider behind Aunt May. He calls it in, stabs her right through the...
Yeah, and originally it looked like it just knocked her down.
Yeah.
And then as Goblin's leaving, he goes, that you saw in the trailer, he throws the
pumpkin bomb.
The pumpkin bomb, and he knocks it away.
Yeah.
So at that point, you think you're in the clear. Aunt May gets up. They're having a heart-to-heart. And another great Aunt May scene.
Yeah.
She tells him, she does the line, Uncle Ben's not here for it. She says, with great power comes great responsibility. That everything he's done, no matter the outcome, it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And at that point, Peter notices she's bleeding.
Yeah, she collapses and dies.
Very emotional scene.
Peter gets shot in the shoulder. He has broken ribs, but somehow manages to escape, and he escapes to Midtown High, sitting on top of the roof. There's a scene in the trailer. So then we cut to Ned and MJ, who were sitting in an apartment waiting for Peter to call them because they were the fail-safe, because they would press the button and get rid of all the villains if helping them didn't work. And so they can't find him.
So Ned, he earlier in the movie they stole the
sling ring.
The sling ring from Doctor Strange, and Ned's magic now. Yeah,
so Ned can use a sling ring apparently. It took Doctor Strange only like 7 months to learn how to do it, but Ned, with perfect hands, I guess, can learn how to do it in like 2 seconds. So he figures out that you can think about where you want to see and then sling ring to it. Well, he says, find Peter Parker.
I looked over at him at this moment. I knew this was the moment.
Yes, and so we see a Peter walking in an alley, or we see a Spider-Man walking in an alley. He's got the eyes, they're lighting up, and we're like, okay, that's kind of interesting, I don't know. And then he runs and jumps through the portal, and boom, bam, bop, it's Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield, the guy who's not in the movie.
Yes, the guy who's definitely not in the movie. And then
who should get that Oscar just for his interviews for the past 3 months.
That's facts, dude. Man dodged that question like no tomorrow, dude. It was beautiful. And then Toby shows up, and then we get some nice exchanges between the two Spider-Man.
The goat himself.
Yes. And then...
who had no interviews.
Yes.
Leading up to this, he had no questions at all.
And everybody knew he was in it. I mean, it was a foregone conclusion. But, so then they go find Peter, they give him a pep talk, they explain to him that every Spider-Man has gone pretty much through the same experience. They've all lost stuff.
And Peter's very broken at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Probably more broken than we've seen an MCU character.
Oh, for sure, yeah, because I can't think of a more like... scene with emotion from a character in the MCU. Like he was legit.
Even Andrew and Toby, their emotion in that scene, it was great.
Oh yeah, it was it was just beautiful. So they give him a pep talk, and I don't want to gloss over it because the acting was amazing, but you'd have to see it in person. I can't really do it justice. So they give him a pep talk. They go to the Statue of Liberty. They fight the villains. They cure them all. Send them back home. And Doctor Strange ends up erasing everybody's minds so that way only Peter knows he's Peter and everybody else is forgotten. So MJ doesn't know anymore, Ned doesn't know anymore, Happy doesn't know anymore, none of the Avengers know anymore. So not even Doctor Strange himself knows anymore. So
and that's dumbed down as much as we can.
Yeah.
In that last 40 minutes there's so much.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's just one scene where Peter goes to find MJ and try to explain to her what had happened, and he's about to start doing it, and she waves to somebody, but it's not him, and he thinks it's him. And then Ned walks in the back, and then them two start talking. But it's so sad for Peter because he's like, I mean, I know these people, but they don't know me, and it's crazy.
And another Peter Parker thing.
Yeah.
Swallowing what he wants. Because he sees other people are happy. He sees they got into the college that they wanted to get in.
Their lives were better without him.
They were happy. It's a classic Peter Parker thing.
Oh yeah, and so that's just the extremely kind of dumbed down version of it. So that's our general overview. Now we're gonna get into things that we really enjoyed about this movie. Like you just said, the classic Spider-Man struggle. Like everyone always kind of suffers because of him, but Peter being the good guy, after that all happens, he leaves them out of it.
Yeah. It's like even like from the onset of the movie, the first thing you notice is their struggle. Everybody, Aunt May, Happy's being investigated hard.
Yeah,
his friends can't get into the college they want. All of it's just because they're associated with Peter Parker.
Exactly, and so every villain and even J. Jonah Jameson are accusing him of thinking only about himself. When in reality, the whole movie he's trying to do what's best for other people.
It's the classic thing of everybody else in the world they're better off because of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But everybody close to Peter Parker is worse off.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that's a good way to put it. So, another thing that we really liked was Tom's Spider-Man and Peter finally became his own hero.
Yeah, it wasn't, the Iron Boy Jr.
Yeah.
The Iron Boy Jr. memes has been around since Civil War.
Yeah.
That's gone. And I'd say it's probably halfway through when it really...
Oh, yeah, for sure. And there were some scenes on the Statue of Liberty fight where they're all fighting together, and Tom is the one barking out orders to the two more experienced Spider-Men, telling him like he's worked on a team, because Spider-Man's a solo hero, and they haven't worked on a team, so he's barking out orders to them, really like giving them directions and taking responsibility for himself. That was really good.
Yeah.
Another part that we liked was the fight scenes.
All right, the fight scenes were phenomenal. I feel like in the first two, maybe it's more jumping and flipping, and in the first one there wasn't even.
No, there was hardly any
with the Vulture.
fighting.
There was hardly any fighting at all.
A lot of sitting and talking.
Yeah, but this one, it reminded me of the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man, but better.
Yeah,
standing up, throwing like punches, throwing through walls, slamming through the floor.
Yeah, and then we get like that. Obviously, that scene with Doc Ock on the bridge, and then there's this one scene at the very end of the movie where Peter goes to get revenge on Goblin for killing his aunt, and he's just going absolute ham on Goblin, dude. It just looked so good.
It was awesome. And I don't know if you remember their first fight.
Yeah.
At the apartment, he was throwing punches, but it's like Defoe or Goblin was just eating every
dude.
One
that
of
was
them.
A great scene, dude. He's just like on his shoulder, kind of like how Black Widow does, like she'll like wrap her legs around, and he was just punching,
and Goblin's laughing.
Yeah, he's just sitting there tanking, like laughing like a maniac. Dude, it was like, oh my gosh.
I don't know if it's Spider-Man throws his punches, because I know that's the main thing in the comics. I don't know if he was doing that or if Goblin was just that strong in that moment. I
don't know, dude. But so they were just visceral. Like they were visceral, and they felt more actiony. Like you said, like in the first two movies, like I don't know. The second one, he fought drones. He couldn't even fight Beckett because, Quentin Beck, whatever, because he was a human. And then Vulture, also a human.
And then the final, I know Marvel gets its stuff for its big CGI fights at the end. But they couldn't execute it any better than they did in this one.
No.
With the three Spider-Man fighting, what was it at that point, 4?
Yeah.
4 villains. Or no, it was really 3 because Goblin came in at the end again. So it was 3 on 3, just perfect. It was stuff we couldn't see with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man because the CGI wasn't there. It was perfect.
It really did feel seamless. And so
every Spider-Man they were unique in how they were fighting.
Yeah, that's another thing. So like we got a lot of fan service. So we got mention from Norman. He's something of a scientist himself. He literally repeats that. We get mention of Toby's back.
Toby's back.
We get a funny bit from Andrew about him fighting a rhino and him being the amazing Spider-Man. I don't know. It's just funny that the little fan service bits they gave us were really good.
And I know, like normally I'm not one for fan service, but it made me enjoy this movie so much more. The stuff like if this is your first iteration of Spider-Man, you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Every time they did a repeat line from the previous movies, everybody went crazy.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure if this was like the younger, they're like, wow.
Hey, what did they do? Yeah, I think I literally heard somebody say that. What did they even do? I think it was when Norman said, "I'm something of a scientist myself." And
but
it's like,
it was perfect.
Yeah, and so we got next up. Each Spider-Man stayed true to their character, and you kind of mentioned this earlier. Like Andrew stayed like Andrew. Like honestly, it was like there was no drop off from Amazing Spider-Man. Like he was the same exact Spider-Man that he was. Same with Tobey. Cracking jokes, dude. Like it's just amazing.
And Toby's jokes, they land. They're laying.
I don't know why they land, but they just do. I think it's because he's just such a meme. And
he's joking, but he's serious.
Yeah, and so we got a lot of close. Wait, what were we gonna say?
Their jokes between each other, they were so good.
Oh yeah, no. I was just sitting there like a kid in a candy store, just like watching. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Because they started talking. I can't remember why they were talking about web fluid, and then he's like, "What do y'all need web fluid for?" And they're like it comes out of you?
Yeah. And they're like, where else does it come out of? Your wrist? Your butt? And so it was just funny. And then we got a lot of closure between the characters too. And so like you kind of pointed this out before the video, but for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, we didn't really get any closure because that last movie got canceled. Same with Tobey. We didn't get a Spider-Man 4, so we didn't really get any closure. And so there was some stuff that was explained by them in the movie that kind of gave them some closure.
And it gave them a send-off. We're never getting to see Tobey Maguire in the Spider-Man suit again. We'll probably never see Tobey Maguire in a movie again.
Yeah.
This is probably his last movie in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And Andrew, he's in a ton of movies, terrific actor. We'll see him again, but probably never see him as Spider-Man again.
Yeah, and it was nice, dude. It was heartwarming. Another thing, wait, what?
And they spent like, I feel like 85% of the time their masks were off.
Oh,
it's like there's no need for it. Like, we know who the villains know.
Yeah.
The world knows.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter if the other two take their mask off because they're not a part of that world. So, something also you pointed out was that side characters in this movie had like a legit purpose, like Ned and MJ. They were more than just, funny wisecrack characters.
Right.
And we didn't really have any unnecessary side characters like Betty Brant or Flash Thompson. Like, they were just there. But...
And one of my... Yeah, Flash Thompson, he was probably in 3 minutes.
Maybe 3 minutes.
Maybe 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Which I don't really care for his character, if I'm being honest. So
No.
I was fine with that. We did get to see him finding out. He was looking at his phone, and the headline came up. Peter said, "No."
Yeah. I can't believe it.
But one of my worries going in, I was like, I don't want it to be a Spider-Man Homecoming Iron Man thing where he's taking too much screen time from Peter Parker. But really, he wasn't in the movie that much.
No.
I mean, he was in a respectable amount for his role, but at the end of the first act, he was gone until the very end of the third act of the movie. Yeah.
So, I don't know. The characters had a legit purpose, and I agree with that.
And they all drove Peter Parker forward to be what he needed to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then, finally, things that we liked. There was a lot of stuff we liked about this movie. The new suit. Dude, the new suit is dope.
I remember hearing that there was going to be a new suit, and I was like, are they talking about the integrated suit? I was like, is that what they're talking about? Was that the new suit? Because I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It looked better in the movie than it did, like, the lead up to it. I was like, but then he popped it. It's that classic. It's like comic. Like, it's
it looked a lot like a mix between Tobey and Andrew's suit, which is probably where he got it from. But it's gonna have the same eyes.
And it's that blue color just pops.
It does. It was shiny, dude. It was nice. So. To be downers, I guess. Not really, because these are things we didn't like.
Minor nitpicks that do not detract
from the film whatsoever.
No.
And so, first up, we got pacing. The first 30, maybe 45 minutes of this movie, until Doc Ock hits the bridge, are slow, dude. They're so slow.
There's not really any Spider-Man. It's all Peter.
Yeah, and it was kind of on purpose because they had to do a lot of world building before they get into the...
And I'll say like the first 15 minutes after he settles down, it jumps like probably like a week or two between every 5 seconds.
Exactly.
It's going ahead. Like we don't see much of like, it's hot. They were never in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like in the trailers we were getting courtrooms. We didn't get any of that.
No, not at all.
It just, at that point, Charlie Cox... lawyered up. They don't know he's Daredevil. He basically says Peter's in the clear.
Yeah. So I was gonna say something. I forgot. Yeah, you can almost think like the first 30 to 45 minutes of this movie is like a prologue before you get to the actual
it's
movie.
Just like, okay, we gotta establish that we gotta cross off all the checklists to get to where we need to get.
And then,
which is fine.
I was okay with it because the rest of the movie was just so great. Like I didn't really care. Another thing that we had kind of a nitpick about is Sandman and Lizard were they felt kind of like sidelined compared to like Electro and
which they fixed Electro in this movie. If y'all hated Electro and Amazing Spider-Man 2,
they fixed it.
I think you'll enjoy him in this movie.
Yeah, and so but Goblin, Doc Ock, and Electro got most of the screen time, so that was another kind of little nitpick. And another thing that you mentioned was Sandman was kind of like. You'll see it in the movie, but basically his motive for being there at the very end makes literally no sense.
At the beginning, he's helping Spider-Man. Okay, makes sense. You know, they made up. He helps him take down Electro. Then Doctor Strange just pops him in a cell like that. So he's,
Yeah.
But then at that point, they're working on the cures for everybody, and he's telling Electro, like, just calm down. We're about to go home. Don't do anything. Let's just go home.
And then after Goblin,
after Goblin does that. Sandman doesn't fight, then he leaves, and then he shows up at the final battle.
Kind of unnecessary, kind of like unnecessarily, like we're not sure why he was there. And then last thing for all you Venomverse fans, Venom was not in this movie. Oh, he was in the post credits.
He's not even in the universe anymore.
Yeah, they eat him out.
The post credit scene at the end of Venom was, I think it was just to hype up this movie even more.
Oh, yeah. But see, it doesn't make any sense because the only people who came through the portal were people who knew that Peter was Spider-Man.
Yeah. And I thought that too. I was like,
he didn't even know Peter was Spider-Man. Anyway.
Okay, so all that aside, the end of the Venom, a piece of the symbiote gets left.
Yeah, so Eddie Brock and Venom go, but there's a piece of the symbiote left.
Which is great because I did not see any way that version of Venom was going to work in the MCU.
No.
I did not see how it was going to work.
Yeah, they had to create a more evil Venom for sure.
Because there's no way that they're not. There's no reason for them to fight Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And you can't.
They couldn't work together.
The style's just not MCU. It's not.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Venom is now. He's teased. We don't know if he's down the line somewhere. Venom.
I think they're going to continue the Venomverse with Morbius and maybe even bring back Andrew. Maybe. So.
Maybe. Hope so.
You don't know.
Well, you'll have to see because there's
more to it for sure. I mean, this video is already. I don't even know.
Vultures and Morbius.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a poster of Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, and Morbius.
That's true, dude. The return.
Yeah, we don't know.
But
we don't know.
So this leads us to our verdict. After being hyped for this movie. You all saw the first trailer breakdown that me and Colby did, or a trailer reaction. Me and Colby were hyped for this movie. I think, and this is your line, but I'm going to read it off. It says, best movie I've ever seen, not because it's the best film, but because it does Spider-Man and Peter Parker justice.
Yes. I think this is the first movie since Spider-Man 2 that gets Peter right and it gets Spider-Man right.
Yeah, and I would agree with that 100%.
I mean, it doesn't. You've had movies that get one or the other right. Like I think that's been the case with the MCU versions. They got either Spider-Man right, and I think they got like the Peter right in the first movie.
Yeah,
Spider-Man Peter wrong in the second movie.
Yeah, exactly. So and even the case throughout the trilogy, like I feel like Tobey had a great Peter, but I mean his Spider-Man was also really good, but like it wasn't as good as his Peter Parker was, and then Andrew had a decent Peter and a great Spider-Man, and then Tom Holland was kind of just like the middle of the pack. But this movie really did it so well, dude.
It did it so well.
And our second verdict, I guess, is definitely the best MCU Spider-Man movie. I think that was a foregone conclusion.
It's not really not close.
Yeah, not even close. I mean, the second Spider-Man movie close to it would be Spider-Man: Homecoming, but even that one, it's just a far cry from how good this one was. And then.
So if we're doing our rankings, and it's early, we've seen it one time.
Yeah, I mean, this is right after we watched the movie, so
my way too early is it's the top of the MCU for me.
Yeah, I think it's second best behind Infinity War. So,
and take this these are biased reviews.
Oh heck yeah! I mean, Spider-Man's amazing.
I'm not saying this is the greatest film or even maybe the greatest MCU film, but to me, I enjoyed it more than.
I can actually second that. Like, there's probably maybe one or two movies that I enjoyed more, but I don't know, dude. This movie just had me from the get go, dude.
The Peter Parker development, the Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield,
Oh yeah, bringing them back was just, they had to do it.
Okay, I gotta plug this in because I forgot to. Andrew Garfield catching MJ.
Yeah,
as she was falling.
After Peter gets hit by goblins, justice.
It was I called it. I called it 2 months ago.
He did call it.
I told him. I was like, "That's what's gonna happen." Because you saw like Andrew Garfield's face when he caught her. It was like
I know, and he was like crying.
It was like he forgave himself.
Yeah, it was closure, dude. Closure.
You can just sit there and think, like, you'll be thinking, okay, all these great things, and then another one that you forgot about just pops in your head. Like,
exactly.
It's even better.
That's honestly why we almost didn't even make a script for this video, because we could have been going on for ages. But that's pretty much all we got. Like, and I feel like this video is going to be really long, but it's kind of on purpose because we really enjoyed this movie.
Enjoyed it. And if you didn't watch the movie and you watched this video,
go watch it.
And you watched this video, you ruined it for yourself.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you did
I don't know
ruin it
why
for
you did
yourself.
that. But subscribe and watch the rest, after you watch the movies.
That's also true. And thank you guys for watching. Like, we really enjoyed this movie. Really just go see it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the next one.